Well, the cars all sure look good sitting in front of the house. Hi, I'm Dennis Gage, and welcome to My Classic Car. Well, this week we're in Paso Robles, California to visit Dick Woodland. Now, Dick's got a lot of cars, and most of them are at the Woodland Auto Display at the Estrella Warbirds Museum here in Paso Robles. And believe me, they run the gamut. But today, I thought we'd pull out some late 40s to late 50s cars, frankly, just for the fun of it. So what do you say? Let's have some fun. I think you picked the right car just to have fun with.
Yeah.
Well, Dick, great to see you.
It's my pleasure.
You know, I guess I met you last year when we were out shooting the Warbirds Wings and Wheels show at the Estrella Warbird Museum, which is also the home of the Woodland Auto Display. And I was really taken by your collection then. You've got a lot of unique cars spanning, you know, all sorts of years and all that, but it was your dirt track racer room. I had just never seen anything like that. What is the engine?
That is a 427 Chevy Can-Am engine.
In that package?
Yeah.
It's going to be a handful.
Oh, you bet. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be braver than Dick Tracy for those.
But it's not just that you like those cars, you lived those cars.
That's right.
Is that right? I mean, so what's the story? How did you get into that?
I just never grew up. No, my father had race cars, so back the late 40s, early 50s, and I had race cars when I was still in high school. I had one before I had a driver's license. I couldn't even tow it to the track. I had to get help.
No kidding. Well, your cars are so interesting too. I mean, they're everything from the midgets, you know, to these outlaw sprint cars. And I also love your Indy Garage.
Correct.
That was so cool.
Well, thank you.
So I mean, that looked pretty authentic.
It's as close as we could get with the space we had, and I had a lot of help from Bobby Unser on that.
Oh, really?
One. And he was the one that helped procure the doors, the original doors
Those
that
are
were
really,
used.
those are really Indy.
Right.
Well, that even looked like there was Indy dirt on those doors.
Pretty much. When those doors first arrived, my guys saw them and they wanted to clean them up real good.
Don't do that.
That's DNA.
Stop that.
Stop what you're doing. I panic. Do not touch that. You know?
That stays. Well, it's a great collection. It's a great display. And what a nice compliment to the Warbird Museum, which is amazing too. And the show was a blast. But today, we pulled out some 50s, late 40s period cars in your collection. This one looks like it's hot off the presses. I mean, this looks like a fresh restoration of a 48 Packard what?
Sedan wagon.
Sedan wagon.
Actually, Woody sedan wagon.
Woody sedan wagon. Where did you find this?
I found it up in Monterey. It was a fairly complete car, but it needed a complete restoration front to back.
And a beautiful restoration too. I mean, this is a gorgeous car. These things were very smooth, built like a tank.
Oh yes.
And what a great interior too. I mean, it's just, I love the shift knob. It's a 3 on the tree?
Yes.
Oh boy, with that little crook there, that is. But you know, it's a pretty stark dash actually. It's not as ornate as you might expect. And how about the interior pattern? Is that?
That is correct.
What would have been? Wow, geez. I love how the rear end comes around because you got this wagon feel till you kind of get back to here. And is that clamshell?
It is.
With one backup light.
One backup light.
Now this would have been powered by the straight 8, right?
That's correct.
But that was supposed to be an incredibly smooth running engine.
They were great.
Wasn't there a marketing thing that you could theoretically balance a nickel on this while it was running because it was so smooth?
Yes, I don't know if I would test it on this one. It runs smooth, but that might be pushing it.
That's really smooth. But you know what, I'm surprised, big engine and everything, that's a pretty small carburetor for it.
Yeah, it is. Very restricted.
And we got it down the road apparently, but I imagine it wasn't a real high performance monster. And probably a pretty heavy car.
Very.
Very.
Yes.
Well, it was a gentleman cruiser, that's what it was.
For sure.
Well, let's close this back up and let's go look at something a little newer.
Very
Okay?
good.
All right. So the Packard's a mighty nice car, 48, but now we're going to get up to 1954, and this was the first of the glass tops. So this was a Crestliner Skyliner?
Skyliner.
Skyliner. And that was the designation for the glass top.
That's right.
This is such a great 50s car. I mean, this color, it just screams 50s, doesn't it?
It does.
I've always loved these things. Now, where'd you find this car?
This one was actually at an auction. I was back up at Monterey. I keep going back
You
up
go
there.
there?
Yeah. And every once in a while, something will come through that the rest of the world doesn't see the beauty in it. I just
Seems to be working
jump
for
on
you,
it.
though, yeah. And did you buy it in this shape?
This is one of the few that we've had to do very little to.
Because the chrome's great. It must, I mean,
Yeah.
this is a pretty
Chromed
nice
interior,
restoration.
everything was good shape. The engine runs well. I mean, it's mechanically, it's a good little driver.
But you know, the problem with these is it was sort of a terrarium. You know, when you were in this, you kind of cooked.
Absolutely, they were not built for the Southwest.
But I also liked when Ford did the speedometer that way with the window behind it. I think that's a great look.
Yeah. And I call it, you know, the forerunner to the sunroof. They tried this, and it was unique. It only lived for 3 years, you know, and then suddenly we have the sunroofs with the sliding door. You can block out the heat.
In
and
case
so
you
forth.
don't want
Yeah,
it, right?
That's right.
So this was 54, the first year for this. This probably sold really well.
It did reasonably well, yes.
Did it sell less well in 55 and 6?
Yes, 55 and 6, they put the glass top on the Crown Victorias, and sales dwindled each year. I think the word got out. People, you know,
It's kind of hot. it's kind of hot. But just, I mean, I do love the color, and I love this kind of peach interior. And even the crests, I mean, this is a nice restoration. The blue dots, that's a little bit of a California
yeah.
touch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, this was the first year for the V8, the
overhead.
overhead valve V8.
That's correct.
Yeah.
There were flatheads up until, you know, up through 53.
Sure. Oh, wow. Now that's interesting.
Yeah, it's
So-
been tricked up a little bit. It's not quite stock under the engine's pretty much stock, and I think they've just dressed it up. And
So you have the Thunderbird valve covers. Is
Right.
that a 292 or?
that's right. But yeah, and they've got the electric fan and so forth. They've turned it into a driver, but kept it mostly original as far as appearance. And
And does it run pretty strong?
runs nice, yes,
Yeah?
surprisingly well.
Now I notice you run bias ply tires on most of these cars.
Yes.
So between the steering and that, you know, you get the feel of the road. Beautiful car though. That is a really pretty car, and I just absolutely love the colors. So Packard, the Ford. Want to talk a Buick? All right, now, I mean, I love that Ford, but this Buick is just gorgeous. 57 Century, is that right?
Correct.
Convertible, beautifully restored. That maroon top, that wasn't stock for the era, was it? I mean, could you get that top?
My understanding is that it was, and
Wow.
we've not researched it yet to confirm it. But
I mean, it's just beautiful. So 57, by 58, and there's a lot of chrome on this car, but by 58 it got kind of ridiculous.
oh yes,
It was like almost,
all the General Motors cars especially.
again, now this is another nice 50s combo, not quite as crazy as that coral salmon, but still, you know, very 50s in its colors and, you know, in its styling in general. And those are Kelsey Hayes wires.
That's right.
That sets this car off big time. They toned down the grille because they were so toothy in the early 50s, but
Right.
that's still clearly a Buick grille.
Yes.
And you still have a bit of a bomb sight there. So interior-wise, was it in this condition, or did you have to restore the interior?
No, the interior was pretty well done. It was in good shape. We had to do a little TLC and touching up here and there, but overall it was in good shape.
So power windows,
Yes,
and, you know, actually kind of a simple dash.
it is
Because
very basic.
Buicks were usually, you know, pretty almost over the top, and a padded dash too.
There's a lot of detail in it.
Yeah, there is a lot of styling. A lot of chrome back here too.
Oh yes. Yeah, chrome was a bargain back then, I guess.
It must have been. And these are cast, right? They're pot metal, I think,
That's right.
because those will break down. So this thing really had some money put into its restoration.
It did.
They had figured out, I guess, by 57 that putting the exhaust actually through the bumper was not such a good idea. This one's cut out. Looks like it's through the bumper, but it's not. This has probably got to be kind of a crowd pleaser too.
Definitely.
This got some sort of nail head in it, right?
That's right.
Let's go look
I
at the
think
nail head.
364, if I remember correctly.
You say 364?
That's correct.
You know, it's such a distinctive engine with those straight up and down valve covers. Nothing looks like a nail head.
No,
It's
no,
just-
it stands out.
It does in fact stand out. None of these really been fully shaken down yet.
No.
But you know, when we talked first off, you said you got this 59 Edsel convertible. I said, really? Man, those are wild. And that's one that you have just to play with.
That's right.
That's right. Well, let's go look at that toy. Close this baby up. All right, now, these are interesting cars.
Definitely.
You either love these cars or you hate these cars. But this is the 59 Edsel Corsair, is that
That's
it?
correct.
Corsair convertible, that was their top of the line
That was.
in 59. How do you miss the grill? I mean, it's the elephant in the room, but that horse collar grill really took a lot of heat back in the day.
That did. That was part of the downfall of the Edsel.
And in fact, this was the last year for that, because I guess Edsel lasted one more year.
That's right.
But they changed it to something that looked like a Pontiac to me. But it was distinctive. When that was coming at you, you knew it was an Edsel. The hood was made for that grille.
Right.
I mean, it was made to accentuate this thing that was already a little bit out there. Well, and I gotta believe trim is like impossible to find for these.
Correct.
The interior is really a comfy looking cruiser. I didn't realize they were this sort of 60-40 split bench.
Right.
Of all the cars, frankly, that's the fanciest dash of
It
any of them,
is.
isn't it? I mean, and that is about the poofiest padded dash. You could sleep on that thing. It's like a pillow. You know, those ovals in the gauging is almost a little bit Oldsmobile.
Yes, I was going to say. Very similar.
And this is the original interior?
It is. I'm sure it's been redone at some point in time, but it is the correct color and everything.
I mean, it's a cool car. This rear quarter is unique. They were starting to look pretty Ford by then because they were sort of struggling.
Yes.
Even the taillights looks like they might have been Merc or something.
Taillights, my understanding, was from Mercury.
Oh, they really
and,
were?
And they were, yeah, they were piecing things in, trying to build the 59 model, you know, as economically as they could.
So this 59, this would have been 352,
Yes.
right? Workhorse engine. Let's go look at it. Wow, white, huh?
White.
Wow. And that's what they were?
That was the correct color for that engine.
Wow. Now I had my first car was a 59 T-Bird, which I bought for $100. But it had that same 352. Again, it's a tough engine.
Yes.
Does this one run pretty well? I mean, that's why you got it, right?
Yeah, it runs decent. We're going to go through everything, though. I want to rebuild the engine. We're going to pretty much bare frame it, hopefully this coming winter.
Wow. You know, I've never driven a 59 Edsel convertible. Can I
Well,
drive this baby?
I think you should. We'll broaden your horizons.
All
right now.
right. Close this baby up, Dick.
Well, there's one off the bucket list.
Cruising in a 59 Edsel. Boy, this is a nice riding car, though. It's fun to drive, too.
It is. It's going to be a nice piece. It's not bad now. It's a good little
Yeah.
driver.
Well, and I tell you, you got to be careful because if you make them too nice, you don't want to drive them anymore.
That's right.
Now, is Edsel like in the hierarchy? Was this supposed to fit between Lincoln and Mercury?
Correct.
So you would have had Ford, Mercury, Edsel, Lincoln.
That's right. It's not a high dollar car by any means, but people look at that and so many of them never knew there was an Edsel, and the others that did kind of snickers. My God, there's one left.
Have you been collecting, if you call it collecting, most of your life, or just accumulating? Or
Just really more accumulating till I got involved with this, and then I started thinking about, well, what would be interesting, you know, and I'm maybe kind of keep my eye open for like the Edsel here. you
something
know.
like that.
It's
Edsel
different.
convertible, right?
Yeah.
How did you link up with the Estrella Warbirds Museum?
I guess through talking to some friends of mine I went through school with that were involved. In fact, one of them was one of the founders out at Estrella. He'd come out to the shop and see some of the cars we had in there covered up. And one thing led to another, and finally he said, you know, if we had the cars out at the museum, people could see them, be more of a draw. And we beat it around, decided, yeah, let's see what we can put together. And
I bet it's good for the museum.
yeah, it's a twofer.
It's interesting that, like the other cars that we talked about today, kind of found you, sort of. You know, you were someplace and they happened to be there, and I'll do that.
Right.
But you found this one. This
Yes.
is what you wanted. This
I
one.
had to chase it down.
You had to. You tracked it down. That's quite a view from up there. I mean, there's just vineyards everywhere you look.
It's a destination center now, and more tasting rooms.
That ain't all bad.
No.
I do like that glass pack sound.
Yeah. Well, she didn't let us down. What do you think of the Edsel now?
This was a lot of fun.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Appreciate you coming.
The pleasure was all mine. Nice cars, Dick. Nice cars. So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics. I'm Dennis Gage. Happy motoring.
Hi.